Welcome back to Shutter Magazine. My name is Dustin Lucas, and today we're going to talk about mixed lighting. I want to start out by saying the equipment that I was using today, the Nikon cameras, Nikon SP24 speed lights. I wasn't using anything, really anything that would allow me to do any automatic settings. I had to sort of do them all manually. But the main topic today, what I'm going to talk about is the Rogue gels for the flash. It was a $30 flash set. Gave me correction gels as well as stylistic color gels in order to create sort of blue cast or red cast images that sort of fill in and give a little bit more of an effect in your photography. The gels that I was using today are the CTO color temperature orange, and what it's going to do is it's going to correct my light and add warmth to it, or orange. And what that's going to do is when shooting in warmer or more orange lighting, it's going to get the color temperature of my flash closer to that of my ambient light or my artificial light. And the way that most of these flashes are set up are for 5,000 to 5,500 Kelvin, which is close to daylight balanced, more of a white-blue light. And so you'll notice in your church scenes or your indoor lighting scenes, whenever you have an incandescent light on, that your flash tends to make your subjects look blue when you correct for that orange light in the background. And vice versa, whenever you're correcting for your subject and you have them sort of looking, give them the warm flesh tones, your background tends to look really orange. So the balance between this is getting your flash to that same temperature that all the ambient light is. So therefore, when you're in Lightroom, you can correct it all. And I'm going to show you how to do that. To get my catalog open here. You'll see the difference in the whites and how I'm shooting versus with the color gel on and with it off. So let me pull up my first catalog here. Wow. Drag it to the desktop here. Apparently it doesn't want me to work from my volume drive. That's okay. Let's see. All right. So what we're going to look at here is I have my sort of assortment of all my images, all my test shots, as you can see. I'm going to go down to the main images that I was using for the article. So specifically, what I'm looking at here, I'm going to call these down so we can look at the specific images from the article. So when I started out in the for the interior shots, is you're going to see with these three different lighting situations, this background window stays pretty close. If I keep it at the same color temperature, oh, now my files cannot be found. That's no worries. We'll get this figured out here. Let me relink it to my original raw folder here. But what you're seeing in the background is all the different color temperature jumps. And so the main difference between these images, and let me choose that, get these. So now my original photos are back. So what I'm looking at here is the difference between how the camera is reacting with all the different lights. So this shot here is with the window light. This shot here is with the ceiling fan and the lamp light turned on. And this is the light where I'm using with my flash to sort of fill her in and correct for that. With this scene, since I'm using just my flash and the window light, the color temperature is going to be pretty close. And as you see, I have a custom Kelvin temperature of about 5,400. As shot, what you want to have is somewhere between the 5,000 and 5,500 Kelvin range for this sunlight as well as the flash. So what I'm looking at here, the difference between these different shots is if I correct for this for the window light, what I'm going to have is the blue in the background. The difference with my first shot is if I can correct here, and it's all just the window light. So if I'm correcting for that, it'll look a little more even. Whereas where I'm correcting versus the artificial light, window light turns blue, and vice versa. This gets very orange. And so what I'm using here is with the ceiling light and the sunlight, what I'm able to do is just using those two. I don't have to set a gel on the flash. The gel doesn't come into play until I have a little. I'm almost guaranteed to have to use all the orange lighting in the church. And so what I'm looking at here in these images is I have this first shot here with none of the gels on. And so between these two, you can see a pretty big difference. Now, where the difference when I start to take the church down, say for instance, I pick this wall in the back, and it really makes the image pretty cool. You're really seeing the blue in my flash here versus sort of correcting for all this orange and yellow light. When I do that same effect, I'm just going to copy those same settings to the next image. You're really seeing the difference here in the bottom. The difference between the blue light and this yellow light. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, if you don't have flash gels, you can just correct that in Photoshop. You can go on and just paint all that in, but I mean, look how much work I'm saving myself just putting a flash, which takes literally 2 seconds, adding the flash onto the band here, and it's giving me the results instantly in camera. So I'm not even worrying about that. And for this shoot, you know, I kept it on the incandescent preset, and so it sort of sent my images rather red here, and you're seeing all that red, that orange light come through. And so I was showing you, even with setting it on a preset, or you're setting your white balance on auto, whatever you're doing, those flash gels are going to react so much better than just shooting just your flash. As I'm grabbing this background, and you're just seeing the difference between them. And that's all I have for you guys today. Tune in next week, and I'll have another demonstration of different lighting, different color techniques, so you can get control back in your photography. Now get out there and shoot.